Hi Home Talkers, Fiona DeBell here, and I am joining you from beautiful sunny Toronto, and I'm going to give you some really awesome fun to do today. Whilst we're online and whilst you're joining us, if you can tell me where you're actually tuning in from, that would be amazing. It's just so great to know where everybody's watching from. It always surprises me. We get people from literally all over the world. So we're going to have some fun with Fusion Mineral Paint. And what we're going to be doing is something pretty surprisingly easy. It's something that's going to make you feel like an absolute artist. I'm using Fusion Mineral Paint because it's an acrylic paint. It dries really nicely and quickly in this temperature, and I just love using it. What I'm going to ask you there at the very beginning is where, if anywhere, in your home would you use Fusion Mineral Paint? And there's prizes. So if you tell us down in the comments, give us some love, give us some hearts, give us a share. Tell us where you'd use Fusion Mineral Paint in your home, and you could win some Fusion Mineral Paint goodies. The winner will be chosen during the broadcast, so get your ideas and suggestions in. Okay, I'm going to start off straight away. I think we have a question.
From Ontario, Idaho, Ohio, New York.
Wow, hi from Ontario, hi from Idaho, hi from New York, hi from, where else did you say, Nick?
Idaho and Ohio.
Idaho and Ohio, fabulous. This is exciting. Okay, people, school holidays, kids are bored, we need to give them something to do. Sometimes it's good to give them something messy to do, and this is kind of messy. So I'm going to do a small IKEA hack because I'm going to paint these wonderful birch trees onto this IKEA box, but I'm also going to show you that you can do it on any kind of, this is just a canvas. You can even do it on wood, you can do it on walls, you can do it on anything. Let's get on with it. First things first. First thing I'm going to do this on two sides, because I want to show you what the project is. We are going to create some really realistic looking birch trees that, as I say, even the kids can do it. First thing I'm going to paint one side of this with one of my whites. So I am going to choose Champlain. It's a lovely white. I'm going to be very naughty here, and I'm actually going to pop my brush directly into the paint. Now, if you were doing this at home and you were using your paint, you would not, see how I just damp my brush there to make sure that it's not too dry to start with? Squeeze it off on my kitchen roll. If you were doing this at home and using a big pint of paint like this, you would not dip your brush into it. The only reason I'm going to do that is because I know that I will get through this paint really fast. So I'm not even really worrying. I've done no prep on this. This is lovely, beautiful raw wood, which I have to say, if you've got these things from IKEA, if you ever use milk paint, oh my goodness, Homestead House milk paint on this, this would look stunning. See how I'm really working the paint quite quickly, and I'm trying to create a little bit of texture. In fact, something that I'm going to do, I've poured more paint on here than I want to. In fact, I'm going to pour a little bit more on actually. See, by the end of this broadcast, shall we see just how dirty my hands can be? Where are you all tuning in from? That's what I need to know. Nick's going to keep me updated. We are doing birch bark, how to do birch bark. So easy, even the kids can do it. This is a little tool that I picked up from Martha Stewart. Just pick it up in Michael's or wherever. And I'm just going to create a few kind of little bit of texture on here, just in the paint. Maybe, am I going a little bit too fast, Nick? Do I need to slow this down a little bit? And I just want to create nothing too fancy. I just want to create a little bit of texture. And how cool is that? Look at that. Can you get a real close-up on that? This is a Martha Stewart rubber texturizing tool. They come in two different styles. And guess what? Look at that. Super fast. You could actually leave that just like that, just as it is, and it would be fabulous. So I'm going to put this to one side because I want it to dry, and I'm just going to recap a little bit. Tell me where you're tuning in from. That's what I need to know.
We've got Michigan, we've got LA, Houston.
Michigan, LA, Houston. Amazing, amazing. So,
California.
California, oh, California. Always wanted to go, never been. So, here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to create these beautiful birch trees. And I'm going to do it upside down, so it might be a little bit of a brain bend for me. I'm using this Fusion Mineral Paint. You can buy Fusion Mineral Paint from many Fusion stockists all over the world. If I wanted to, I could actually paint this entire piece here. I'm just going to put a little bit on there so you can see the difference that the colour would make. I'm not going to do this on here right now, simply because I need it dry, and we haven't got time really to let this completely dry whilst I complete this process. And I want to show you that it can be so easy, you don't even need anything underneath. So we've done, first of all, we've got our IKEA little file box. and we painted on the one side with the Fusion Mineral Paint Champlain, used my Martha Stewart tool, and what I did, I created some texture. And you'll see in a little while why texture is really good. The other side, I've left completely blank. And you can see this is not a new piece, it's been bashed and battered, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to do exactly the same to this as I'm going to do to this. So the first thing I'm going to grab, my trusty frog tape. Just whilst I'm on here, whilst I'm just playing with my tape, remember, there's a winning prize question today. You can win Fusion Mineral Paint goodies. We'll send you a great, fantastic pile of paint. The question is, where would you use Fusion Mineral Paint in your home? Where would you use it? Lots of exciting answers to that one. I can think of so many different places. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my frog tape, and you don't have to use frog tape for this particular job, because I'm not too worried about getting a super, super tight line. I'm just going to put it down very simply. I haven't done anything. If I had just painted this, here's a top paint tip for you. I don't know if you know this, but I run How to Paint Like a Pro, and this is one of my How to Paint Like a Pro tips. Take the tape and damp it off, so that if I was sticking this directly over newly painted paint that had just dried, I don't lift the paint off when I actually remove the tape. So hopefully this is going to start looking like some birch trees to you in a second. Now I can make them a double width. If I was making stripes on a piece of furniture, for example, I would certainly be far more careful with my application. And the other thing I would do, I would dip my finger in the water like this, and I would just run my finger along the tape here just to activate the glue. So where are we all tuning in from? Who have we got watching us today? I'm excited to hear where you all are around the world. It's gorgeous here in Toronto. I think it's about 27, 28 degrees outside, and the sun is shining, and I'm painting birch bark. What could be more exciting than that?
We have a lot of answers to the question.
Oh, what's going on? Give me some of the answers.
We've got bedroom cabinets, kitchen cabinets, there's a whole variety. So it's mainly cabinets at this point.
Oh, I'm looking for something a little bit more exciting than cabinets. Let's hear about somebody painting something that nobody else is going to think of. Something in your home that you think would just completely change the look of it just by using Fusion Mineral Paint. And the winner gets to get a painty prize, loads of painty stuff. So, I'm going to continue adding this tape. Do we have any questions with what I'm doing so far?
Not yet.
Anybody want to know what on earth I'm doing, sticking pieces of tape onto a piece of canvas? And just to go over the steps that I've already covered, we're going to do this on wood, we're going to do it on canvas. I've painted one side of this and texturized it using this Martha Stewart tool, just so that I can show you what happens with different surfaces. You can do this technique on wood, you can do this technique on canvas, you can do this technique on walls, you can do it on doors. It's pretty much unending what you can do.
Can it be done on fabric?
I believe it could. I think you need to have your fabric pretty taut, so by that I mean stretched out. But as you see what we're carrying on with, I think you could definitely do it on fabric. Certainly if you were considering painting a fabric chair and it was like on the seat, you could definitely do it. So I'm just quickly tearing a little bit of the tape to make it thinner. Now what I'm going to do now, can any of you guess? What am I making? I'm making some little branches. Now this is definitely not for the purists. If you were an absolute purist about how a birch forest should look, this is probably far more basic than that, but this is something that you can even do with the kids. It's fun. If you don't like getting paint on your hands, then you can always wear some little gloves, but I don't mind the painty hands. I will just carry on doing it like this. So another piece of tape over here. What do we think, Nick? How am I angling it? What do you think there? Look good? Okay, where are we all watching from? Who is tuning? Have we got anybody tuning in from the UK? I
haven't seen UK, I've seen Dubai, I've seen...
Dubai? Wow. Where else?
Also Peterborough.
Okay, so I'm going to ask everybody to share. Share this broadcast on your pages. Share it to your friends. Let them know what's going on. Although you're going to be doing this technique and they're going to be absolutely begging you to show them how to do it. So share it with them and show me some love. Give me some hearts. Let me know that there's people out there watching me. That would make me really happy. So it all looks a bit strange right now. Looks like there's not much happening. And I think, what do we think? There or there? I need some thumbs up. Thumbs up for there or thumbs up for there? I'll leave it there. How many thumbs up are we getting for that one, Nick?
Getting lots of hearts for that.
Okay, and how many hearts are we getting for here?
Hold a second.
I need to see the hearts, otherwise the other place wins.
It's
Here.
about 50-50.
Okay, well I'm going to ask you then, you get the deciding vote.
I like it over there.
Okay, there it goes. So there we have the basis for our trees. Now because I haven't let the paint properly dry under here, yes we might well pull the paint up when I pull the birch bark up, so be it. So I'm going to just recap on what we're doing. We are creating fabulous birch trees. So a birch bark forest, and the background's going to be gorgeous and glorious, and it's so easy even the kids can do it. Your friends will be amazed. The reason I'm doing this is I did this up at the lake a couple of weeks ago with my daughter and her friend because it was raining, and oh my goodness, the things they completed were amazing. So I'm doing it on canvas. I'm also going to show you how to do it on wood. And first of all, I painted one half of the wood just to show you different options. And I textured it, I put lots of paint on there, globbed it on, no skill required at all. And then I just used my Martha Stewart. Look, you can see, I can even make more texture there. And it would be really fun to do this with a texturizing powder like Fusion Fresco or something like the embossing paste. That would be great. So I'm going to move that to one side. And I ought to, whilst I've still got the tape out, put some tape onto the box on this side. I can't do it on the other side, unfortunately, yet because the paint is still wet. Let's have a look. Sorry, am I out of angle? Any questions? Anybody got any questions? You're very quiet today. I guess the summer heat's getting
Lots of people are coming with lots of ideas as to why they would want to do this.
Oh, I'd love to hear.
That's where it's coming from mainly. It's got pieces. We've got old picket fences, bunk beds.
Ooh. Is that to do this technique, or is that to use Fusion mineral paint?
It might be that. No, that was Fusion mineral paint.
Oh yeah, definitely. Bunk beds would look awesome. In fact, there are lots and lots of examples of people painting beds, which is great. You can just completely change up your decor without having to spend a great deal of money. You can see I'm painting directly onto the raw wood here. This frog tape is amazing stuff. So I'm just going to do, that'll do for now, won't it? What do we think? Yes, we're good. So let's hope this dries quickly. In the meantime, time to choose some colour. Okay, so I need to look at my birch forest from the correct angle, which is that way up. So I did it upside down for you, so it's kind of the first time I'm seeing it. I'm thinking maybe we should have another thinner one coming along here, but we won't bother for now. So this is what we're doing. We have just a plain canvas straight out of the wrapper. I demonstrated a little bit of slightly coloured paint there, which was the Fusion Mineral Paint Champlain. And I have put my frog tape on, and now I'm going to create my background. So this is the messy bit. Again, I'm going to face it towards you so you can see this is the bottom and this is the top. Now, who likes colour? I need some love here. I'm going to ask you two questions. I can do this bright or I can do this subtle. So who likes the bright? I want to see how many hearts we get and how many thumbs up we get for doing it in bright colours. And I'm gonna
Lots of hearts.
Okay, Nick, you have to be the judge of this. How many hearts and how many thumbs up can we get for doing it in more subtle tones?
Okay, wait 1 minute.
Waiting a second, finding out what everybody's saying. It's exciting. Look at all these crazy... You're going to be wondering what on earth I'm doing with my Canadian tire cards.
I think subtle tones have it.
Subtle tones have it. Okay, in that case, I'm going to start with some Algonquin, which is a lovely, lovely colour. It's a very kind of linen-y, browny colour. Now, one of the wonderful things about Fusion Mineral Paint is because the pigments are so fabulous, you really can mix them to create whatever colours you like. So I'm going to pour this onto here. Look at that gorgeousness. Oh, just so beautiful. Where would you use Fusion Mineral Paint if you were using it in your home? That's the question, and if you answer that question and you get picked, oh my, you could win some beautiful painted goodies. Use a little bit of tones for tops, which is in little stalk, very, very pale lavender, and I think it goes most beautifully. Look at those two colours together there. Gorgeous. So I'm going to take a brush and take a clean brush. Now, again, top tip, I'm just going to flare my brush for a second. I'm going to take some kitchen paper and I'm going to dip and take my brush out of the water just so that it allows the paint to flow down the bristle more evenly. So I think I'm going to add in here a nice I know we said subtle, but this is definitely not subtle, but it's definitely gorgeous. This one is the Azure from Michael Penny. Look at that gorgeous colour. I haven't opened it properly. Oh, so that's because I'm trying to keep it for myself. Where's everybody calling from? Or watching from, I should say. I always say calling from. Where have we got everybody tuning in from? So look at this. I'm mixing 3 colours. Just to recap, we are going to make a gorgeous birch tree forest. So I think I'm going to start here. See how I've got the 3 colours on my brush? So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to switch it over and do that. And I'm really, really not in the slightest bit worried about mixing those colours up, because we're going to be making an absolute mess with them in a little while. And you'll think, what is this silly woman doing? What is she painting? Just to recap, we are painting birch trees. So I'm going to just literally throw the paint on there. I'm now going to get my kitchen roll, kitchen towel as we call it in Canada, in the UK we call it kitchen roll, and I'm just going to literally roll my kitchen roll. Can you see how I'm getting this subtle pattern going on? And that's why I need the paint to be really wet whilst I do this. And you can play with this over and again. One of the great things you can do with this, see what I mean about the painty fingers? Definitely not the night to be going out after I've had a manicure doing this. So where would you use Fusion mineral paint in your home? I would love to know, and I'd like to hear some really exciting, unusual answers. The more exciting the better. We might hold you to it, we might ask you to show us what you've done. Don't forget that we will be having another live demo later on this evening, 5 PM EST, so make sure that you tune in for that. I'm going to choose another colour now. So we're kind of coming up. I've got this gorgeous, gorgeous park bench. It's a stunning, stunning green, again from the Michael Penny collection. And you know what? I'm not even going to. I'm going to pour it straight on here. It's one of my favourite techniques. Pour it straight across there. And I'm going to get my, again from the Michael Penny collection. All of these are available from your Fusion Mineral Paint merchants. If you go to the fusionmineralpaint.com website and look at where to buy, you will be able to see exactly where you can buy these products and these paints. And then you'll be able to paint all these lovely things in your home. And what's great about these is that because they are acrylics, they get this lovely, lovely, this particular brand of paint, Fusion Mineral Paint, has a lovely matte sheen to it. It's a matte finish, which is just lovely. Very pretty. And I'm going for a little bit of blue there as well. Okay, so, shall I go? Who wants me to use the brush? Who wants me to use the plastic? I'm not even going to wait for an answer on that one, Nick. I'm going with this. Here we go. So see what I mean about even the kids can do this. They can use whatever colourways they like. You can blend it together. See how beautifully Fusion actually blends those colours. You don't get that grey muddiness because the pigments are so true and strong. So I'm going to go back to, obviously I could go with just literally adding a little bit of texture, a little bit of something down here. Could even dip this into my brush. And doesn't this look like a terrible mess right now? Aren't you all thinking, what is this silly English woman doing? I'm going to get my paper once again, and I'm going to roll it. And what I want to do is I want to see some of these colours transferring down. Can you zoom in on that, Nick, so we can see where the lovely greens have just transferred down into the blues. Yeah, and it really doesn't matter. You can choose your own colours on this entirely. Imagine you could put a really dark colour across the bottom, pretend you're making a pond. I'm going to switch this paper out because it's a bit saturated and just turn it over. And we are making birch tree art for the wall. So easy, you can do it with the kids. You can have it on your walls, on canvas. You can actually paint directly onto the walls. I did this once for a friend, and she has got it across the wall in her store actually. And it's absolutely stunning. Somebody else I know did it on a barn door going into their washroom. So you can do this on a really, really big scale. Now I think we should add some depth. And to do that, I'm going to use some blues. So I'm going to go with the Midnight Blue, gorgeous, gorgeous dark blue. This on furniture is stunning. So if you are thinking of painting something in your home, if one of the answers to the question has got you thinking, yes, I maybe ought to paint something in my home, this colour is gorgeous, and it pretty much does one coat coverage with a little bit of touching up, which is fabulous. And then I'm going to use our Liberty Blue, Fusion Mineral Paint Liberty Blue.
Dorothy's asking, can you use a sponge to do this?
Oh, you can use anything, Dorothy. Imagination is the only limit. And honestly, look at that. See, I can use my finger. You can use absolutely anything. And I could use a small brush. So I'm going to try and grab a little small brush from here without dropping everything, which I probably will anyway. And this brush is really stiff, probably because I didn't wash it properly. So I'm actually going to work with that. I quite like the idea of having this stiff brush. So let's have a bit of depth around the edges, just around the corners of our painting. And yeah, I can get my finger in. And something else that I could use, which would be really fun, would be a roller. So these are fabulous microfiber rollers, which really do give you a fantastic finish. You can, again, use these on furniture.
Sanat would like to know, can you use it on glass?
You can. You absolutely can. And if you were using it on glass, I would highly recommend you use a product called Ultra Grip, which effectively makes the impossible possible. So Ultra Grip creates teeny tiny little dimples that you can't see with the naked eye in the surface of the glass. And if you paint it on with a sponge or a roller, so it's nice and smooth, then it will give you an absolutely brilliant finish. It's great for things like that Bombay type furniture, you know, that has a really slick finish. So I'm just trying to create some depth around the corners and the edges, and it really doesn't matter at all how I do this, because ultimately it's all going to be mixed in. We put a bit of the Liberty Blue, which is a slightly brighter blue. I'll use a different brush for that. And see how actually the shape of the brush, we're just creating texture and more texture and just interest into the background, because remember we have, I guess I should recap again. We have used tape. So we started out, we're trying this on a plain box. We started out, we taped on here, which is the canvas, with frog tape, just to make out, you probably can't see it very easily on here, just to basically put some trees on here using the canvas. It's very, very, very easy to paint over. You can't see them, but when you see the reveal, it makes a lot more sense. So I'm just like literally painting on some texture, and you can do this with the kids, you can do it with your hands, you can do it with your fingers, you can really get in there and messy. And if you don't like getting messy, then put some gloves on and just go for it, you know? Everything that I'm doing here is completely just not even thinking about it. I'm literally just going to tap with my fingers here. I want to kind of create a little tree-like effect, like it's the back of the forest. Create a little bit of depth. And if I had my gloves on, it'd probably be a little bit better. But look how simple that is to do. How easy would that be to do with the kids, with the grandkids? You've got a rainy day. Go and grab some of these testers. They're so inexpensive and they last ever such a long time. You can actually paint quite a lot with one of these little testers. And I think it's time to break out the metallics.
Tanya asks, are you going to take the tape off?
I certainly am, otherwise it'll look very, very, very bad. So yes, the tape is there to stop the paint from going underneath. And then, once the tape's off, that's when we create our really nice finish. So I'm actually putting a little bit of the paint on my fingertips. I'm just going to go for it with a little bit of gold. We're talking birch trees, so you know there's always a little bit of that kind of lovely coloration going on. And look how gorgeous that is. This is a Fusion Mineral Paint. And this colour is pale gold for anybody that's interested, if you want to go and buy it. And it really is lovely. I'm Fiona DeBell and I am here in Toronto, and hopefully you are getting a good lesson in something to do with the kids during this long summer holiday, when they are always shouting about how they need something to do. And I'm going to use the copper now as well. Ooh, look at this. This is just gorgeous. Fusion Mineral Painting copper. Look at that, I got it on my fingers again. And I'm going to just do the same thing. See how we're just adding a little bit of interest there with the copper tones, mixing them in. Now, if you don't like you're getting paint on your fingers, absolutely don't use your fingers. You can use a brush, you can use a trowel or a knife, you can create texture. You can do lots and lots of different things with this. It's super easy to do.
Lots of people can't wait for the reveal.
Oh, okay. Would you like me to get on with it? I should probably do a little bit more paint at the bottom. Let me just put a little bit more of the darkness on here because it just needs a little bit more, I think. There we go. Okay, are we ready for... This is only the part 1 reveal. Part 2 is when we create the actual texture using the birch, a special tool that I have in my possession that every single one of you actually has in your purse. I have absolutely no doubt. So at this point, it's just going to look like a painty mess with some white stripes. But that's fine. That's actually what we want because the magic comes with step 2. Get rid of that. And just to recount what we've been doing so far, we have taken a canvas, but you can do this on raw wood, you can do it on a wall like behind me, you can do it on fabric if it's taut enough, and this obviously canvas is fabric that we're working on right now. You can even do it on a piece of metal, whatever flat surface you have, on just wood or painted wood. So that doesn't look like anything right now, that looks rubbish. And you're thinking, what is she doing? What has she got going on? Show me some love, even if you think I've gone completely bananas. Give me some hearts, give me some shares, tell people what we're doing. I am now going to take a piece of my kitchen paper and I'll move these out of the way so that you can see them. And I am going to take some chocolate and some coal black, and these are the little magic things. Now who can guess what tool it is that I'm going to use to create my birch trees, my actual birch tree finish? Whilst I'm opening these up, if you can let me know where you would use Fusion Mineral Paint in your home, I would be very grateful because you might just win a fantastic painty prize. Okay, you might be wondering why I had Canadian Tire cards on my desk. Well, guess what? This is how we create the birch trees. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you how to practice it, because it's always a really good idea before you start any project like this to just have a little practice.
Can you use any kind of card for that? You
could use any kind of card that's stiff enough. So I'm using a Canadian Tire card. You could use any of those cards that you get as gift cards, whatever. You could use cardboard. Just
hotel key cards?
Definitely hotel key cards if you haven't had to give them back. So imagine, I should draw an imaginary line, shouldn't I? Do I have a pen? Let's pretend that is my birch tree and that this is all painted either side. So what I'm going to do, I put a little bit of paint on here and I'm just tapping it off, and I'm going to just line it up and just drag it across. Look at that, can you see? So now hopefully you understand why I was doing that. So now really I shouldn't start at the bottom or at the top, I should just start in a random place somewhere. So I'm going to start here, and it doesn't matter if I go over the edge, if I go a little bit wrong, it makes no difference because, see, I haven't got quite enough paint on here and I'm mixing the black and the brown together. Can you see? It should hopefully...
Show the paint again a bit longer.
There we go. There's I'm putting a little bit of black on, a little bit of brown on, and I'm just damping it off on my kitchen paper, and then I'm going to lean it on here. And can you see how I've got it just slightly on the side? It's not upright like this. If it's upright like this, no paint's going to really get across. If I have it slightly slanted, look at that. We have a birch tree. Any questions right now? Anybody need to know what's going on? Everybody's very quiet today.
No, they're not. There's lots of messages coming in. Someone just said they need to get their daughter to piano lessons but can't stop watching.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you don't get into trouble for being late for piano lessons.
Shayla Maria says, wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, was it worth the wait? Did you think I was completely nuts? And now look at this.
Cindy says she loves this. Cheryl says very cool.
Fantastic.
You're getting lots of hearts. And
this is great. Well, it is actually, as I say, easy enough that we can get the kids to do this. It's such a great little summertime project. Or you can, you know what would be lovely? We'd be making greetings cards. You can make really pretty little greetings cards because you could do this directly onto paper. It would be really, really nice. Now, you can pull it right the way across. And can you see the very subtle, where the grain in the canvas has actually picked up the colour that's on the board? So, where is everybody watching from? That's what I want to know. And I also want to know, where would you use Fusion Mineral Paint in your home? Tell me how you would paint like a pro, because that's what I am. I'm a pro painter. That's what I say.
Shayla says this was definitely worth the wait.
Good. Good, yes. It was a long time getting here, but, you know.
Keisha Lee says, I was about to make an espresso, but I don't want to miss anything.
You can watch it back later. Here's the good news. That's the good news, is you can watch it back later. But if you watch it back later, you might not be able to win some painty prizes from Fusion Mineral Paint. And Hometalk are going to be choosing a winner during this broadcast as to who can actually...
Can you just show how we're applying the paint?
So I'm just taking some of the brown and I'm taking some of the black. And then I'm damping it off. I don't want too much paint on here. And then I'm lining it up with the edge of my tree and pulling it across. And then I've still got some paint on this side. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. And actually this is a good example. So let me, if you can zoom in here, Nick, and just show where I didn't stick the tape down. So you can actually see that there's some bleed under there. It really doesn't matter. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Pull it across. I need a bit more paint. Now you don't have to stick to brown and black on this. You could do this in those kind of pinks and purples. Maybe we should do some sunshine coming across, and once this is dry, we could do it with a lovely gold or some more of the copper. And just keep doing this until we get to the end. So any questions? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear if anybody's going to try this anywhere. If you've got an idea.
Carly says she actually cried over seeing her favourite birch trees cut down. These are beautiful and she might paint them.
Oh, well, there we go. That's just made my day. That's lovely. Birch trees are beautiful and gorgeous. And yes, surround yourself. You could paint them on your wall and then you could pretend that you're actually in the forest. Any more questions, Nick? No?
There's lots of people talking about where they would use the paint.
Oh, I'd like to know. Tell me where you would use the paint. Let's hear. Let's just show here where I actually put a little bit of the colour on underneath so you can see the difference. So where would people use the paint and they can win that painty prize? And don't forget,
Candice says she would love to do this on a canvas, a big one, and place it at the very top of her stairwell.
Ooh, that would be good. That would be amazing. Oh yeah, I love the idea of that. Finding a big enough canvas. And you know, you can pick these canvases up from thrift stores that have pictures on that you might not be that keen on. And you could put a coat of the Fusion Mineral Paint Champlain over the top, or any of the other colours, and use that as your base. In fact, that's exactly what we've done here. And I was thinking I might do that later, but it would take far too long. I just had a painting on that we didn't like.
Jenny Lynn wondered if you would be able to use the Fusion Mineral Metallics.
You certainly would. Well, we've got the metallics here on the edge. Now, something I should just show you as well. So the metallics look stunning on here. And when the light hits them, when you've got it on the wall, when the light hits it, it is just lovely. So I have decided that branch is going behind my tree. So I've just put a bit of tape there. And here we go. I'll move my hand out of the way. So you see how I can go all the way across and not worry about it because I want a straight line down here. So yes, the metallics look absolutely gorgeous on here. In fact, one of the things I might do just whilst we're here, see how these metallics are just slightly dried? And really I should have done this before I took the paint off. Sorry, before I took the tape off, but we were in a rush. So look, see how I can mix the metallics in rather than just the fingerprints. And look, they just look so gorgeous together. And look, they're now transferring down to the bottom. But yeah, you really ought to do this before you take the tape off. These rollers are smashing. They're absolutely wonderful. Any more questions?
What's the brand of paint once again?
This is Fusion Mineral Paint. And you can buy that at fusionmineralpaint.com, and you can have a look on the where to buy section. And when you look on there, it will tell you where you can buy it directly from our very, very highly trained merchants. They will be able to give you all sorts of advice and information, and also lots of them even do this as a workshop. So you can actually go in and learn how to do this from a pro if you're not ready to dive in and do it yourself, but they also do everything from kitchen workshops. Yes, you can use this paint on kitchens. There we go, I've just given you an idea for that question answer. And fusionmineralpaint.com, buy it from there. And you can also find more tips from me on how to paint like a pro on Facebook. That's where I hang out most of the time. My name's Fiona DeBell, and I'm working here with Fusion Mineral Paint.
Mahakami says that they would use this to do cards.
Yeah, I love that idea. I think that's a fantastic idea, because you can just do it on a very small scale, or you can do it on a really big scale, and that's the beauty of this. And there's also no right or wrong. You know, you don't have to use the tape. You know, I demonstrated with the tape simply because it's a really easy way of doing it if you're doing it with the kids during the summer holidays. But you know, you could just draw the line out so that it's not quite so straight, and have a little bit more of depth and definition on there, and that really makes it a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to take this tape off here now. So remember, I went across the top of here so that I could get a straight line here. And so what I'm now going to do, I don't need to worry about the tape that side, because I've already got my guideline. Oh, look, I've stuck my finger in the copper. We can pull this across here and see how now we see that the tree is going in front of that little branch. And again, I pull that across here. It's quite tricky doing this upside down. Any questions, Nick?
Again, people talking mainly about where they would use Fusion Paint.
Fantastic.
There's lots of questions. Sarah Pelly says this would look great anywhere.
It certainly
Rebecca
would.
Horse says wall painting and artwork.
Oh yeah, great.
Lisa says, wow, I really love how your painting is coming together. That's amazing.
Yeah, you see, it looked terrible. It looked like I'd gone completely bonkers, lost the plot, throwing paint at a canvas, trying to do it upside down.
Barbara says she would use this to create a family tree on the wall.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Okay, so I have also got a tiny little bit of stick here that came
Paula
off.
from Trinidad says she's got 2 art teachers in her family and she's going to share this with them.
Oh wow, well that's amazing. That is fantastic. Imagine if this little technique starts being taught in a school in Trinidad, that would be fabulous. So because I've just got this small little branch here, now I am going to have to pick this painting up in a second because it's very tricky to see what I'm doing from upside down. So let's have a look. So yeah, it's starting to come together, but I need to do something over the top of here. You can see that really we need a little bit more paint and colour to really bring it together. At the moment it looks very basic, but what we need to do is just add some interest and some depth. So if you think that I have done enough on the actual birch trees, give me some love, show me some hearts, and I'll move on to the final step. Who's going to show me some love? Show me some hearts.
Oh yes, yeah, lots and lots of hearts.
Okay, in that case, I am going to get...
Kimberly asks, are Fusion paints sold in the US?
They certainly are. If you go onto fusionmineralpaint.com and go to the where to buy section, you'll be able to see where all the US merchants are. And also if you want to buy it online, you'll be able to buy it online. There's a list of all the merchants that sell online directly on there. So that's what you can do. And yes, it absolutely is. So the question is, do I want to go with my roller? Do I want to go with my paper technique? Or if I was feeling really brave, I could get some cling film out, but I'm not going to. I'm actually going to go with this. And I'm going to use the same technique of taking paint off, so offloading the paint, having put it onto here. So I've put a little bit of copper on the end of here. That's the Fusion Mineral Paint Metallics in Copper. I'm going to take it off, and just to check on there how much is that. So I'm going to just add a little bit of interest. So we've got some of that colour going over the top. Now, I think what I'd actually like to do is maybe have it just coming down one side, but I can't really do that when I'm working upside down. So I wanted to kind of act as though there was light coming in from one side. So we're going to put a little bit more of the gold on this side, and we're going to tint it over the trees. Now, something that I could also do, which looks stunning.
Sanath is watching from Mumbai, India.
Oh, wow. Hi to Mumbai. So here is some gold. And we can do exactly the same thing. You see?
Can't quite get an angle on that.
So see if you can get the angle there, just so that we can add, like the sun is hopping down and reflecting onto the side of the tree. And then what you then do is some more of the black and brown over the top, just to layer it in. And you see how that's the way that you can build depth. So I'm going to keep dabbing away here, and then I'm going to put some more of these colours we had out earlier. I'm going to get the blue, just so I've got some wet paint at the bottom there. And I'm going to literally just dab up with those. I'm not worrying about it, I'm just going for it. And I'm wondering if I should stop because I can't see working upside down. Yeah, it looks a bit bad in the middle there. We definitely need some help in the middle. It's not quite working for me. Let's get back to that gold and copper dabbing. So, my daughter would say dabbing was something else entirely. I'm sure those of you that are parents that are watching know exactly what I'm talking about. So where can we buy this paint? We can buy this paint from fusionmineralpaint.com. You can tune in later on and you can watch Home Talk again at 5 o'clock. We have another fantastic live DIY that you'll be able to watch.
I've had a couple of questions asking whether this is waterproof.
If I was to pour water on it right now, it's going to go through the canvas. But if you're painting on furniture with this, once it's cured, it takes 21 days to cure. It's an acrylic-based paint, so that means that it has it dries from the top down, and you get a really wonderful, super tough finish, which basically is basically scrubbable. If you go onto the Fusion Mineral Paint website, there's some excellent blogs on there that tell you all about scrubbability and just how sturdy and just how easy it is to use. So I really don't like that middle patch. Who's with me? We don't like the middle patch. I'm going to look at that. There we go. And I'm going to get the fingers in. So, any questions? Anybody else need to know what's going on and what's happening?
Pamela says she's going to do this on the front of her fridge.
Ooh, I love it. So if you're going to do it on the front of the fridge, if it's metal, I would highly recommend that you use the Fusion Ultra Grip. We talked about that earlier. That is a little pot of magic that makes the impossible possible effectively. It allows you to create with this kind of thing onto a really super slick finish. And actually, if you're using the Ultra Grip, you could create a little bit of texture when you applied it on there. So use something like one of these texturizing tools, and that would be amazing. So here we go. How's it looking, Nick, from your angle? I can't tell from this angle.
It looks great.
Yeah?
You're the artist.
Okay, so anybody else got any questions? Anybody need to know what's happening? Remember, tell us where you would use Fusion Mineral Paint in your home, and you could win a lovely painty prize from Fusion Mineral Paint. Jenny Lynn has very kindly offered that up to you for all Home Talk viewers. And remember to share this broadcast. You know, all those bored mums out there who might need a little bit of help in the summer holidays, the school vacation, see if they can kind of have a little go at this with their kids. And I can promise you that your kids and you as mums, dads, grandmas, granddads, uncles, aunts will feel so proud of yourself. You'll feel like true artists. And honestly, what I'm doing right now, this is kindergarten finger painting. I'm not using any skill.
Asks, does it need to be sealed?
No, it doesn't need to be sealed. If you're using it on furniture, after 21 days, it's completely scrubbable. On here, it will be absolutely perfect because it's not like you're going to be cleaning it with harsh abrasives, anything like that.
And what about if you were going to be using this on a slick surface? Kerry wants to know what is the
That's where the Fusion Mineral Paint Ultra Grip comes in. It's a little pot of magic, makes the impossible possible. There's a fantastic blog post on the Fusion Mineral Paint site all about that.
Corinne would like to know what colour you used as well. Sorry to interrupt, but Corinne would like to know what colour you used for the grass. For the green colour.
The green is Park Bench from the Michael Penny collection, which is, where have I put it? Here we go. There we go, Park Bench from the Penny & Co collection. And that's one of our designer range. Absolutely stunning. So any more questions? Anybody need to know? I think I'm just about done with this. I'm just putting a few last touches. Probably I wouldn't have done what I'm doing right now if I'd actually spent a little longer on the first part, but you were also desperate to see what I was making. I'm going to put a few little trees, a bit of fingerprints here and there. You can go for summer, winter, autumn, whatever look you want to go for. Let me have a look and hold that up. Get in there. Get in there. I think I need to do a little bit more work on it after the broadcast is over. Do we have a winner? Have we chosen a winner? Oh, look, I've missed a branch. Have we got a winner? That's what I need to find out, whether we have anybody who has come up with the most inspirational idea for using Fusion Mineral Paint.
Lisette Rodriguez.
Lisette Rodriguez, you are the winner. So if you can, go to the Fusion Mineral Paint Facebook page and send us your address. We will send you a fantastic painty prize. If you can't do that, then please let the folks at Home Talk know where you are and we'll send your prize to you. But that is fabulous. I'm so excited for you. Hopefully you'll be able to do this exact technique and show us how you did it. I'm going to sign off for now. Remember, 5 p.m. tonight, EST. You can see another fantastic Hometalk live. I think I should go and wash my hands. I'm Fiona DeBell. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.